Good evening. My name is George Effiom, a Nigerian-born immigrant to these United States and senior pastor of United Christian Fellowship of Arlington, a Bible-believing church with a predominantly ethnic African congregation. I am recording this video today in response to the troubling events that have taken place across the nation over the past few months, specifically the killings of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and most recently George Floyd, as well as the mass protests that they have provoked and the governmental and public responses to those protests. First and foremost, let me make it abundantly clear to our African American brothers and sisters that we stand with you in the condemnation of police brutality and push for racial justice. We feel your pain and celebrate the ancestral kinship that has kept us as one people, despite the turns of history that have thrust an unwelcome chasm between us. Our anger is justified and righteous in the sight of God, and it has been a beautiful thing to see the peaceful protests across the nation and the large numbers of people of all races that have joined in expressing collective outrage over the dehumanization of our people. Let us continue in the spirit of peace and unity and resist those who would hijack our righteous cause and use it as an occasion to harm others or commit crimes. Let us remember the words of Apostle Paul in Ephesians 4:26, where he says, "Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath, nor give place to the devil." Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. To our police and other law enforcement officers who may feel that they are under attack, let me also clearly state that we stand with you in your God-ordained role as enforcers of the rule of law and pillars of a just society. It is because we support you that we must call out incidents that indicate a departure from the righteous principles of law and justice, and urge you to do more to dismantle all institutional barriers to the identification, removal, and persecution, where appropriate, of those in your ranks who perpetuate a culture that dehumanizes people of color and denies them their legitimate rights under the Constitution of these United States. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. To the American people, the fruit of this great land and beacon of hope and humanity to all the world, let me remind you of the word of God in Micah chapter 6 and verse 8, where it is written, "He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Justice and mercy and humility before God have been the bedrock of American greatness and the invisible strings that bind us together and have attracted people from across the globe to these beautiful shores for centuries. May we embrace the future in unity, hope, and courage, and commit our hearts to justice, mercy, and humility. Because silence in the face of injustice is complicity. To the leaders of the American church, let me, as a co-laborer in the gospel ministry, express profound respect for those among us who have stood up boldly to confront the scourge of racism and social injustice that plagues this blessed land, despite the attacks that our voices attract. May we not be found cowards who remain silent and flee when America needs to hear our voices the most. Let us be mindful of the words of Apostle Paul in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 2 and 3, where he says, preach the word, be ready in season and out of season, convince, rebuke, exhort, with all long-suffering and teaching, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. There is a time to be silent, and there is a time to speak. And we as leaders of the church must know the difference. Silence when we ought to speak up will render us irrelevant in the unfolding waft of history and ultimately hinder our witness in proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ, which, as we know, is the world's only hope. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. Finally, to my fellow pastors of ethnic African churches, we must let our voices be heard as well. The plight of our African American brethren is our plight in more ways than one. We are them, and they are us. For years, many of us have been silent because we have been occupied with our own encounters with racism and discrimination in the course of our American journeys. However, our ancestral kinship and personal experiences give us a unique capacity for empathy and support in this particular matter. Let us stand with our brethren in this salient moment, remembering the words of Mordecai in Esther chapter 4 and verse 14. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity.